think. All right. Let's see here. Should be live. Get some level checks here. Okay. Hopefully the sound is coming through okay. Let me know about that. Make sure that the sound is good. I want to share this here real quick and then we'll get rolling. Is the sound coming through okay? I always get concerned about the sound because that's always seems to be a problem or an issue. Before we get started with the stream here, I just want to make sure that the sound is coming through okay. So if you guys can drop me a comment in there, make sure that the sound is coming through okay. I would appreciate that. Let's see here. Yeah, should be good here, I believe. Yeah. Make sure. Okay, sounds like the sound's coming through okay. So I'm going to play a couple pieces here before we get into the Q&A, and then we're going to announce the winner of the giveaway here. So I'm super excited about that. So let me do a couple pieces here real quick, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. Right, yeah, that was a cool little piece. That is by an artist named Gerald Garcia. I just got this music this past week, actually, from a teacher, and I had never played his music before. He asked me, he said, Justin, have you ever played Gerald Garcia's music before? He's got a very interesting story, and I was like, no, I've never even heard anything about him before. So he gave me this music, and so then I looked him up because I was like, okay, what's so interesting about this guy? Well, Gerald Garcia, he's still alive today, and he's still composing music for the guitar today. and he actually went to the University of Oxford and he did his studies there, and he got his degree in like chemical engineering, I believe, or chemistry, or some branch of chemistry. And he actually, after he graduated, from what I read on his kind of his little bio, is basically he was like, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to do this conventional lifestyle of 9 to 5 job or whatever. So then he basically quit that, and then he started composing and started playing music for the guitar and all this stuff. So I'm sure he had some musical upbringing and experience beforehand, but I did think that was interesting that he had this kind of upbringing beforehand, which is always really interesting to me, to think that people have this type of music, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to do that job anymore, so I'm going to do music. That last piece was called Etude Number 9. I believe it should really have a prettier name than that, but it is a student study. It's really, really cool. That piece is actually at 5/4, so it's in groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of interesting. And it's got these really, really pretty chords, especially this part. I just absolutely love that. All right, I'm going to play another piece by him as well, and then we'll get into all the giveaway and the Q&A type stuff here. But this piece is called Etude Number 12, also by Jerry Garcia. It's a little bit different. It's a lot more slower, real stately like. It's real pretty though. Again, those pieces are by a composer named Gerald Garcia. You should really look up some of his music on you guys' own time. He's got a lot of really, really cool, pretty stuff, as I have kind of discovered. So anyway, yeah, that's enough of me playing. So I want to kind of answer some of these Q&As, and if you guys have any other Q&As in between the ones that I'm going to answer, you feel free to drop them in the comment section. And then shortly after that, then we will announce the giveaway winners, or I should say winners. There you go. More than one person won. Okay, so I posted this on my Instagram story, and in real time, I want to see if there's any more. I didn't get as many as I anticipated that I was going to get. I was hoping to get more, but that's okay. So if you have more that you're interested in knowing, if you have questions, again, you can feel free to drop them in the comment section. Okay, so let's start with Russian Meme Experiment. At Russian Meme Experiment asked me how I got how do you get into guitar? Asked me how I got into guitar. So it's a funny story. I basically had two big influences on me as a younger person that kind of influenced me to get into music and started to want to play music. And then once I started getting into music more heavily, then that's when the classical route started taking over. I haven't been playing classical guitar as long as I've been playing guitar as a whole. But once I figured out what I wanted to go to school for and what I wanted to dedicate my life's work to, um, and my passions were, I really started to get really interested in classical guitar and specifically solo guitar. And playing the guitar as a solo instrument really made me interested. But basically, I had a English teacher who was he was a guitar player, and he wasn't like classically trained or anything. He was really based in the rock kind of pop type thing, you know, real big on the Gibson Les Pauls and Strats and all this kind of stuff. And he was an English teacher of mine, and I noticed he would bring his guitar to school sometimes, and he would close his door, and during like the lunch hour and as well, you would hear all this loud noise coming from his room, and he'd be like, "What's going on?" Right? And so, you know, as I was curious, I would, you know, kind of like peer around, like, you know, what's going on or whatever. Okay, Eric, 1 second, I'll get to that in a second. And so he basically had this little Vox amp, like, you know, one of those small little box battery operated ones, and he would always jam really loud in between these. And so he was like, "Oh, which is so true." And so I then gave me, you know, the basics kind of outlook of guitar, and then I was like hooked. Another kind of part two to that story is I worked at Meijer. If you don't know what Meijer is, Meijer is a grocery store chain, kind of like Walmart or like Kroger, but based here in the Midwest. And I had this lady that worked with me, and her name was Jean. And she was older than me, significantly older than me. And she always talked to me about music, about how she loved the Beatles, and I love the Beatles. And she told me that she took guitar lessons at Elderly Instruments by a guy named Larry Scott. I believe he's still teaching there today. And so we used to talk all the time about music. And then I told her the story about how I bought this guitar. And then she was like, "Well, you should go take lessons from Elderly or whatever." So then I ended up doing that because of that. So it's two type of influences, really. So my English teacher and then a coworker at the time that I worked with. And I actually still keep in contact pretty regularly with Jean from when I worked at Meijer. Which is really funny because she's come to a lot of my recitals, and I've always invited her to concerts and stuff, which has been really fun. So yeah, that's kind of the big main reasoning and how I got into guitar from the Russian meme experiment on Instagram. Okay, so Eric asked me, what is my favorite song or piece to play? That's really hard because I think my my styles are always changing all the time. I've really, because of this quarantine, I've really gotten into Fernando Soares music and Giuliani. They come in books like these, the Complete Guitar Studies books, which are really cool. There's a lot of music in it. And I also really like Villa-Lobos. Villa-Lobos is a composer from Brazil. So I really like Brazilian music too as well. He's 20th century, so 20th century composer. So the music is a lot more chromatic and just a lot more rhythmically active and harmonically active as well. So I really like that for classical guitar. I don't necessarily like the things that are so cut and dry, like 1-4-5 type stuff. I like things that have more melodic content to it, if that makes sense. As far as like pop music, I say pop music loosely because I really gravitate towards indie music. That's a lot of the stuff that is on my channel that I teach, and that's, you know, I really don't like pop music nowadays. I don't really even know what you consider pop music. It's Ed Sheeran, Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift. I don't know. I don't listen to any of that kind of music. But I think alternative music is really becoming the popular culture music nowadays, and I really like that type of stuff. So I like alternative music. So if I'm playing electric guitar, bands like No Vacation is an awesome band. I got tons of lessons on the channel from that. I really like them. I like the Growlers. They're really good. I just started listening to Girl in Red a little bit more. My sister turned me on and they got a lot of great music too. Really, really awesome stuff. I really like listening to like KEXP, WKEXP. They have all kinds of artists in there in the indie realm that play all kinds of stuff, and just really super, super cool stuff. And another artist that I've started to do more lessons on is Claro and Ba Doobie. Ba Doobie. I really like her music too. Like, God, some of these people, they amaze me too, because they're a couple years younger than me, and it's like they write this music all by themselves, and it's like, oh my God. Like, for example, Ba Doobie, I did a lesson on this song. She's got this really, really, really cool song that's in I think she plays it with a capo though, like this. And it's like, let's see here. It's like this major 7 and then A chord. So I just love these progressions because they're so beautiful. Like, they're so poignant and like poppy. And then like Claro has her song and it's like, I could be a pretty girl. I wear a skirt for you. You know, I just like that stuff. It's really, really, really cool. So yeah, those are a couple of artists that I really like. I like Mac DeMarco a lot too. I should say that. How's it going there, Jaden? Yeah, Mac DeMarco is a fantastic singer-songwriter too in the indie realm. Okay, so I have a question from Ben Brand 126. Ben Brand, he was actually on my podcast the other day, as well as Eric. They were both on the podcast. The Boys, you guys should check that out. He asked me, who's your favorite bass player? And I actually answered this kind of in the podcast episode when I asked about who was, if you could build your dream band. He said, I'm good, nothing much. Okay, so yeah, Ben Brand asked, he said, who's your favorite bass player? And we asked this question about if you could have a band, you know, who would be in your dream band if you could build your dream band. And I don't know if he's very well known as he should be, because I think he's fantastic, but Pido, Pido Palladino. I'm not actually sure what his nationality is or where he's from, but he plays a lot of blues stuff and a lot of contemporary music, and he's appeared on quite a bit of records. And he actually plays in I always get this confused because it's John Mayer's trio, and I think it's called the Dead or Great Dead or something like that. Pido Palladino. You should definitely check him out because he's got a lot of cool stuff. Okay, so this is also kind of another question that kind of like Eric's. This is from Andrea.music_ off of Instagram. And she asked me, what's your favorite song to play and the one that you're most proud of being able to play? So that's kind of a two-parter. I'm going to see if I can narrow it down to one specific artist, because it's hard for me to say that I play so many different things across the board. But I would say one of my favorite composers besides Villalobos, which really, really got me into classical guitar, was Francisco Tárrega. He's basically the father, really, of the modern classical guitar. And he has all kinds of works, and he's from the 19th century, so he's really more of a romantic composer. But he was like one of the first composers that really did all this big work for the modern guitar and all this composition. So he's got a lot of works that I really like. One of his most iconic and kind of the biggest pieces in classical literature is called Capriccio Arabe, or Arabi, however you want to pronounce that. I did that for my senior recital, and that is like 5 pieces worth of music, and it's super, super, super cool. He's also got these, I just like him too because he's got a lot of stuff that's in drop D. That's really, really cool too. He composed a lot of music for a lot of different students, and I just really, really, really like his stuff. I'm working on this piece with one of my students that I teach online. It's called Rosita, and it goes like this. Playing kind of sloppy, but But he's got all kinds of awesome music like that. And then I've really been getting into another Brazilian composer, Pernambuco, and he's got stuff like this. And just all this kind of cool, like, Brazilian and samba type stuff. And then you have like I'm kind of long-winding this, but I get so excited about the guitar just because it's so cool. Then you have obviously like your Villa-Lobos stuff, and that's where it starts to really kind of get off the deep end. Anyway, yeah, Villa-Lobos. A lot of Latin composers. I really enjoy. A lot of Latin composers. But yeah, awesome. So if anybody has any more questions, those are the only questions that I got up to this point. So if you have any more, you can definitely feel free to drop them in the comment section. But I want to kind of announce the winners of the giveaway. So this is a really big milestone for me, just because I've never anticipated, and I'm not saying that my YouTube is blown up, but I've never really, in the beginning stages of my YouTube, I never anticipated to ever really get much traction on it. I actually only really used it just to post covers that I was doing, and I was really only using it as a PR stunt. So if I was to play somewhere and they say, hey, can we check out your music? I say, oh, well, I have a YouTube. Look me up on YouTube. Here's my videos. You can see me playing XYZ. Well, eventually it got to the point where I would have students asked to learn a specific song, and I was like, okay, so I'd have to go home and I'd have to learn it for the next lesson for that student. And I said, well, I'm already learning the song. The only thing that I need to do now is just upload it to YouTube, right? So that's really kind of how it all started. And I really wanted to start teaching songs that were not necessarily already on YouTube. There's obviously really big names in the tutorial lessons on YouTube for song lessons, like Marty Schwartz, obviously Marty Music, Justin Sanderco of Justin Guitar, which those guys are really awesome. I respect them a lot. I've definitely come across their videos and have watched their videos before. But for me, I really wanted to start to build a channel that was really geared towards songs that aren't already having song lessons on them, or technique lessons that aren't already there as well. I think for me, especially since there's not a lot of classical guitar lessons out there, there is some channels, but not as big as, like, the pop music thing. So I'm trying to fill that niche where not only am I doing like classical guitar stuff, but I'm also doing like popular culture music as well, which I really enjoy. I just want to be able to play it all. As I usually say, so much to learn, such little life. Okay. So let me pull up my Instagram here, and we'll do this in real time here. And we'll announce the winners. And I should also explain that those who may be tuning in, I did this 1,000 subscriber milestone, and I've actually surpassed that. Now I'm actually at like 1.2. But my giving back to all my supporters over this time has been able to basically come up with this idea where I can give some viewers a free hour guitar lesson. This is a way that I can give back to my viewers that have been supporting me, and I've had some really awesome people that have reached out to me, and they send me messages on Instagram, and they'll say, I really appreciate your videos and everything that you do. I really hope that you blow up. Your content is all so great, and it's just really nice. It's overwhelming at times, actually. Okay, so let me pull up the video here, and let's see what we got. Okay, I have to try to do this by random to make it fair. Okay, let's do this. Pull up the comments. Look away. Bam, what do we have? Okay, looks like the first winner here is going to be Maria. How do we say this last name? Oh, I'm going to butcher this. Maria Matajewizik. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Maria, I will DM you on Instagram, and we will set up a time for your lesson. And I want to choose one more as well, because I did have quite a few different submissions, so I want to make it really as fair as I possibly can. So Maria, you have won the giveaway as far as your free lesson. Again, we'll set that up on a time. And let's see here. Let's do another one. Bum, 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 bum. Look away, look away, look away. Scrolling. Bam. Who do we have? How do I say this? The name is, it's pronounced like electricity, but it's with a K. So at electricity. Name is Gray, Gary, but ELEK. Electricity. You have also won the free giveaway lesson, and I will DM you, and we will set up a time for you to get a free lesson from me. And we'll conduct these obviously over whatever platform works best. I've had a lot of success with Zoom. That's what I've been teaching with mostly. So hopefully we can Zoom with your lessons here. Very, very, very cool. All right. Well, congratulations to those winners, Maria and Electricity Gray. Electricity Gray. Awesome stuff. This has been really, really fun. I'm going to play a couple more pieces in closing here. I didn't want to do too much of a live stream because I do have another video that is being released today. I've had a lot of requests for a lot of No Vacations tunes, and this one has been requested time and time again. I'm actually releasing Beach Bummer today, how to play Beach Bummer by No Vacation. So if you're curious on that song, that is actually going to be released today. Okay. Pull up my music here. Oop. It's really nice too because I have like all my music on my iPad, which has been such an awesome thing to do. I highly recommend getting rid of like all of your sheet music and stuff and just putting everything on music is super, super, super cool. Super handy. All right, I'm going to play a Francisco piece, Francisco Torrega. Cool. All right, I'm gonna do a little jazz number here too to close out because I don't get to play this stuff kind of enough. So I'm gonna do my arrangement of a piece called Autumn Leaves. Jake eats pizza roll. Yeah. Maybe I'll close out with a little blues number for Jake, because I know Jake's a big bluesy guy. Jake, you want Chet Atkins style blues? You want finger style blues? You want rockin' blues? You want country pickin' lickin' blues? What do you want? If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Sorry, it's been a long time since I played Freebird. 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now. Lord knows I've got to change. Sorry. Thank you for 1 million subscribers that I don't have. I'm on my way to 2,000. Congratulations to the winners, Electricity and Maria. You'll get your free lesson when we decide on a time. And you'll be a better guitar player in only a matter of time. Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for sticking around. And again, congratulations to Electricity and Maria for winning the guitar lesson giveaway. Again, just to clarify, I will send you a DM and we will set up that time. And I hope you guys really enjoyed all the Q&A. Hopefully we can do some more live streams in the future and do some more concert-based stuff, and maybe you can request songs like that. That was kind of fun towards the end. I had no idea that was going to happen, but that's what's nice about live streaming. It's all kind of at an instant. So thanks, guys, for sticking around. I hope you digged it, and I will have a new video dropping here today in about half an hour. So be on the lookout for that. Cheers.